Hello friends, we are going to remember everything that you learned last year about InDesign. So here we go. I have a brand new document. The first thing you always want to do is set up your columns. So I went into layout, margins, and columns. And for my design that I'm about to do, that I hope I just gave you a handout for, we're going to do 12 per page. All right. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start drawing my photo boxes, and according to my plan, I have, let's see, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, our dominant photo, we always want something dominant on our spread, is 6 columns wide, 4 and 6 on this particular spread. I'm going to zoom in so that I can see that I'm perfectly aligned to the columns at the top. I'm going to use Command 0 to zoom back out. And since I'm trying to cheat a little bit, I've already drawn some of the others, so I'm going to go ahead and go boom, done. Except now, because I didn't measure that exactly, I'm going to go ahead and make this one a little bit lower. Okay, so you can pause the video and finish making those other photo boxes. I'm going to go Command 2. I do want you to know that I want you to be very careful about your 1 pica space between every element. So one way to do that is to click within the ruler and drag down. And notice this one says 18 picas, 8.4 points. So I'm going to want the space to be 19 picas, 8.4, and it is. So just realize those rulers can really help you. Okay, Command 0, you're going to get the rest of the photographs in. You can hit pause, but I'm going to continue. I'm going to zoom in up here. I'm going to grab my text tool, and I'm going to make a 2-column wide caption. Remember, we're just designing, and so I'm going to use Fill Text, which is under my Type tool, Fill with Placeholder Text. I am going to go Command A in this space and make it 8 point, because I think that's typically the font size that we use. I'm going to make sure it's perfect. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. Actually, this one I'm going to go this wide. And again, I'm going to do Type, Fill with Placeholder Text. That looks better. But then remember, again, we want the text, not the lines, but the text to be about a pica. So I'm going to kind of guess on that one. Now I'm going to copy this caption, Command C. I'm going to come over, actually, I'm going to select Copy. And now I'm going to draw this caption to be just 2 columns wide. And I hit P, Command P, to paste my text in. So that's one. I'm going to copy. I'm going to paste. Here's my other one. You'll remember that Command C is copy, Command V is paste. I'm going to pull that down. Notice it's not the frame, but it's the text that I want to be about a pica away from everything else. So again, I'm going to kind of eyeball it. Now I need to grab that one more time. I'm going to come down here. In no time, we are going to have our basic design done. Oops, didn't like that when I pasted it. I don't know. Doesn't like it when I'm zoomed in, I guess. So I'm going to plop 2 of these down, and then I'm going to zoom in and make sure they're looking good. Two. Look at my master. 1, 2. So we certainly don't want our text running beyond, so I'm going to get rid of that. And I don't want my frame to get in the way. So I'm going to scroll those up. And now, because I know, let's see, we have the same thing going on over here. I'm going to pull that up. I'm going to pull this over and in. Okay, so all we're doing is getting those captions into place. Remembering how to use the text tool, how to align things perfectly. Okay, so I think, so it goes, I hit the W to make those lines disappear. Picture caption, picture caption, picture caption, picture caption. Yes, every photo has a caption adjacent to it. Remember that, adjacent to it. So now I'm going to draw my text. I'm going to have my copy go about here, and there's my phone. Great. Stop. Okay, I'm back. So we're going to fill this with placeholder text. It's 10 point. That's great. I'm not really worried about font. I do want you to know that if we select all, go Command A and go into the paragraph, we can set that one pica paragraph indent, which I think looks really nice. That means anytime where you hit a return, you're going to get this one pica indent, which I think is great. Okay, so then we're going to do, my design has like a one sentence subheadline. Which I'm sure you all remember that is called a hammerhead style. I'm going to make the font a little bit bigger. I'm going to control this. I'm thinking of my one pica spacing. I'm going to pull that down. And then I want to make a really big headline. It is going to start way up here. And this is going to be Hawk Spirit. I'm going to select all. I'm going to center. And I'm going to make it big. Again, I'm not really thinking of font, but I might grab something more interesting. Actually, what I want you to see here is, you see this big space between Hawk and Spirit? And that is really an ugly font, so I'm going to change that to something else. I don't know. We'll do this one. Do you see that huge space? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this and delete it. I think that's what I did. And I'm going to make two text boxes, because then I can control where it lands in relation to the next line. Oh, maybe I didn't get it. Much better. Yep, I did something wrong. I'm going to delete that. There we go. So my font was AYT Abyss and 48. Let's see if we can't get that same thing. AYT Abyss, and then it was 48. And then I'm going to center it, and now I'm going to see how much bigger I can make it. I don't remember how big the other one was. I don't know. It's not the best headline, but we're going to call that close enough. So now I want to teach you this ditty that I think is kind of fun. If you want to add this pulled quote off to the side into this is called a rail of space. What I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my text box. I'm going to say I want it to be about that wide. Then notice this is just a frame, but I'm going to go ahead and go into text wrap. And I'm going to bump it off to the side. I'm going to come back in here. I'm going to type my sentence. Happy New Year. We're going to attribute that to Johnny Jones. Use a 10th grader. That's the way we're always going to do that. Now, the other thing I want to show you is if I sneak in here and I go under type and I go into special character and into symbols, I can get a bullet. That some of you are wondering, how did you do that? The other option is to do, I think it's option 8 is another way to do that. But if you don't remember, so there, I'm going to make this kind of big. I can maybe now shrink this. Now I'm going to look at that and I'm going to say, well, that's kind of ugly, right? My W is touching my other text. So I'm going to go into Object, Text Frame Options. I am going to center this within the space that I have. I'm also going to say that I want 5 points of space all the way around that frame. So there's my 5 points. Now it's got the red plus. It's not quite big enough. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. My 10 doesn't fit, so I'm just going to stretch that like that. And I think that's kind of cool. And now I've got extra text here, so I'm going to delete some until I don't have that red plus. There we go. All right. So now the only other thing that we need to design are these photo boxes over here. So I forgot to measure how big they are, so we're just going to kind of guess. So I'm going to draw one, and then I'm going to draw a frame just below it, just big enough to get a name in there. We're going to use John Jones again. And then I'm going to center, and you guessed it, we're going to go into Object, Text Frame Options. And this time I think I can just center it up and down. And now it looks like I pushed, oh, the other thing I thought I would do here is go into swatches, and I don't have any colors loaded here, but I'm going to just make this black, but maybe make it a percentage. Maybe a little softer than that. And I think this is a little big. Okay, so I think that's pretty good. Looks good, things look lined up. Now I'm going to group these two. I'm going to hold my Shift key down, group the text box with the photo box. I'm going to go Object, Group, and now I'm going to Command C, copy, Command V, paste. And I'm going to line that up right there, and I'm going to do it again. Line that up. Notice I'm zoomed in when I'm doing this because I want things to look perfect. Zooming in, I want things to look perfect. I think I have room for one more. Okay, and now I'm going to have a little bit of text to explain to my reader what this is all about. And let's see, I'm going to make that a little bit bigger because it's not, it's a headline. And then I'm going to make a new text box down here. Notice if it didn't want to draw that text box, I'm going to just draw it somewhere else. I'm going to start from another place. And I'm going to just go for this. It's just going to be an explanation of what these quotes are about. And so I'm going to just do fill with placeholder text. Maybe I've got one line too much of text. Arrow this down a bit to try to space that out. And, oh, this was the other thing I did here on the text is I made this quote line right, which I think is kind of cool. So, well, maybe there's not enough space here. So I'm going to go back to my text wrap. And I'm going to redo this quick.